Luke, I am your father. This is what they give you to work with. But with me just breathing, I keep fogging it up. So this is the last piece that I didn't show you. Good to go. That's what it is right there. Central pneumatic, 20-pound blaster. Looks really good. We'll put it. LOL, one thing that it says it shows a whole different mask to use when you use it, but that's the one that they give you. And then on top of that it says do not use sand in this blaster. Oh, it's my grandson playing with the mask. Oh. Aha, quick fixes. I just connected the hose, disconnected it, no air pressure, and I was able to open that up. But before, I gotta close it before I put the connector back on. So let me fill this up. Make sure you don't get anything on this. If you do, wipe it off. That's just a rubber gasket. Okay, it's just in there with a zip tie. And that's the black aluminum oxide. I'm not trying to capture any of it. This is what I'm gonna blast right here. I'm gonna just do a little bit sections right here. This is what I wanted to put in right here. Just I had a little extra air filter thing online. I didn't put it, I normally have one on my compressor, but I moved my garage around. My compressor was disconnected. I want to try to get this done, so I just put a small one right here. Nothing from the compressor. You need something to capture the water, otherwise it's going to get plugged up. This is actually very fine. Look how fine that is. I'm just using the cup. And why I feel that this was refurbished or a return that I'm using here, well, there was just a big clump that went down there already, is because there was already oxide, aluminum oxide, inside the cap of it and inside the box. So I'm thinking this was a refurbished product, or somebody actually turned this one back in. Another clump came directly out of there, another clump. Alright, let me fill this up, I'll be right with you. Alright, I just put like 7 cupfuls in, and I didn't connect that yet, but I know I gotta do the opposite on that one. This right here felt like it was a little bit stripped. I'm surprised that wasn't leaking, but that one didn't leak at all, so that was a good thing. There's a lot of pieces to putting this together. It takes a little bit longer than you thought. Alright, I'm gonna put this on the stand now. Alright, I got it where you can actually try to see it. Shut this, connect my air. My air is connected now. You hear the leaking, and that's from where the valve is at right there. I'm putting this hood on, and I'm holding my breath. Alright, I have no gloves on, so don't try this at home, kids. Opening the bottom one first. Bottom one is open. Opening the one to the tank next. That one's open. Opening the one to the little red hose going to the bottom. Open. Probably 3/4 of the way. Alright, everything right there is done. This is the last thing to open up. Not enough pressure. Right there, it was dumping way too much. All it was doing was just, the pressure was just pushing the graphite out and dumping it just so much. Not enough pressure. Open that one all the way up. I got this air leak right here. Right there, even with me just trying to set it just right, you heard the compressor kick on. It was like 15 seconds of playing with it, and that little compressor kicked on. Let me go raise my compressor downstairs. If not, it's the compressor, not this right here. This is spewing out pretty good. Alright, this will take forever, and it's making a mess. What I actually did was I have the top ball valve. Let me show you this. This one on high, this one on high, and this one almost all the way closed. That's how I'm working it right now, and finally started working some. So, it's making a big mess too, so let me show you right here. That up some more, get a little bit more media out. that little bit is what I got. Now from what I understand, if you're working on a car, that comes off really fast. This is about 20 years of, actually over 20 years, almost 100 years of paint probably. I'm waiting for the compressor to fill back up, then I'm going to try and do a little bit more. What I have to do is, it's not the inlet that's the problem, it's the media. If you put too much media, it just spews media all over the place, and the air hits it, but with too much media. So if I put a little bit of media, medium media, it'll actually start taking it off right here. But do I think I'm going to do the whole thing? I'll probably go through 50 pounds of media faster than you can say zippity doo dah. And I have to have the compressor. I showed you what compressor I got. It's going to take a really big compressor to get this to work really good, because the compressor is still trying to catch up right now. And right when I open it up, it actually works really good. But then I feel as I lose the pressure, it stops. So you see, I've been doing this for not even a minute yet, but it got some of the paint off. I actually chipped a lot of this off by hand already. Right now I'm just waiting for the compressor to finish filling up. This is going to take forever. Is it going to be worth 50 pounds of media? I really don't think so. You probably need, you've seen I got the 125 PSI air compressor, and I can open this up for about 30 seconds and it will get it down, but not as much as I would like to. Let me just get a little piece of something else so we can see what it's going to work like. But we'll get it really clean, but with the compressor I got, it'll take entirely too long to get this down to clean. That's the Harbour Freight 29-gallon compressor. As you can see, you cannot sandblast with a 29-gallon compressor. I actually did buy a central pneumatic 60-gallon, but it's not hooked up yet. Also, the air pressure lines, both air lines on the sandblaster, you gotta have wide open. But what I found out was if I closed where the graphite, where the aluminum oxide was coming out, it actually, if you had just a little bit of aluminum oxide and a lot of air, that's what cleaned the spot. But granted, this radiator's are over 110 years old and it has about 10 coats of paint. If that were probably a car, the rust would have blew right off. Alright, I want to get a little piece of rusted metal that I had, so we can check it on that. So it does work. I'm not going to say it doesn't work. It's just that you need the right compressor to make this sucker work. Because you see, that's all I got out of my compressor so far. And once it stops with the high pressure, then it just really doesn't work. The stuff just beats off of it. You need really high pressure. So I think mine is rated at 7 CFM at 40 PSI and 9 CFM at, no, 4 CFM at 60 PSI and 9 CFM or 7 CFM at 40 PSI. But either way, you just get a blast shot with a compressor that small. Next thing I'm going to do really is try to hardwire this so I don't get that leak right there. That was the best. That was the best I did in it so far. That's light surface rust. You see that right there? It's that bottom part that you got to play with. Now that actually gave me hope, but I let it fill all the way up. I'm gonna hardwire this in so I don't get a leak from here. We'll go from there. On that video, I actually started shaking the sandblaster to move the sand around at the bottom because it felt like it got a little bit sticky, so I moved the sandblaster around at the bottom to start shaking it. Although you needed like a 60-gallon for the sucker to work. Alright, I put the bigger air filter on right there, not air filter, water filter on right there, because when I hardwired it in right there, the little one just started leaking like a sieve, so it wasn't letting enough pressure. And I put more sand in there, so I'm gonna try it again. Here we go. I should be doing the top, but I'm doing here so you can see, because this part's gonna be up against the wall. This is the part I need done. See, now there's way too much sand coming out. So I'm closing that. Still way too much sand coming out. Still feel like a little bit too much sand. I'm gonna let the compressor fill up again. With that hardwired in and without the air leak, it's working a lot better. Alright, now that's roughly about how much iron oxide I swept up and that I used in the compressor. I venture to say it's empty right now, but that's the size of my shoe, and that's how much iron oxide or aluminum oxide I used. I'm just gonna throw that away and figure something else out with this. Alright, so as you can see, the 29-gallon compressor central pneumatic from Harbour Freight is not big enough to run the sandblaster. I mean, you got like 15-second burst, and by the time you dial that sucker in, the compressor has to fill up again. You got to shut it down so it fills up with sand. So if you have the little 29-gallon compressor from Harbour Freight, do not get this sandblaster, because sandblaster needs a whole lot of air pressure. I just bought the Eastwood 60 gallons, so we'll see how that works. Man, I spent, this video is like 13 minutes, but I spent about 2 hours, 3 hours, and I got like this much of a space sandblasted. So if you got a little compressor, don't even bother picking this one up. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but also somebody told me that the compressors, the sandblaster works better with the better tip, actual sandblaster tip, not a cheapy one that was mass manufactured, but a better sandblaster tip that the compressor works better. So I may pick that up. Either way, thanks for watching. Hope it saved you some money. Subscribe, like, and share.